Rights Commission. Thank you for coming to our second poverty forum, talking about jobs and unemployment. On behalf of the Commission, I just want to welcome you to participate in this morning's community forum, as we're so honored to host this in partnership with the local community organizations that is with us in this endeavor. First of all, I just want to thank Proctor's for hosting us and their support and association with us for having our events here. I want to recognize some commissioners in the room who stands with me and serves with me to make the commission what it is in the community, so we can continue to have events and forums like this. We have Commissioner John Winter-Verne, Commissioner Chad Putnam, as well as Commissioner Randy Magoo, who is involved with this endeavor. Our other commissioners can't be here due to other scheduling conflicts, but we are here in support of this endeavor. I just want to share the purpose of this event and also the Commission's legislative mandate, and that's to foster mutual understanding and respect. And we believe that's important for us to host this forum to provide the community with relevant, timely, and important information about a subject that impacts everyone in our community. The purpose of these forums is to discuss the profound impacts of poverty in our community and to recognize the problem of poverty in Schenectady County and deal with the issue. According to the 2011 American Community Survey, Schenectady County has the 13th highest childhood poverty rate, which is about 50.8% in the nation. Schenectady's median income is $37,000, and that's why this group called End Schenectady is a group of community and faith-based organization leaders.
And poverty.
I'm sorry, and poverty. I'm so sorry. No, I'm not an anti-government person. I work for government. And poverty Schenectady for the record. So it's a group of community and faith-based leaders and organizations seeking to work collaboratively to eliminate poverty in Schenectady. So therefore, we seek to mobilize the community to remove the scourge of poverty from our city. As a grassroots initiative, we seek to support existing anti-poverty efforts and to promote other initiatives that address these underlying causes of poverty, such as education, mental health, housing, healthcare, family support, and jobs. So the first forum that we did, just want to just summarize and review for those who wasn't there. The first forum, the goal of that was to make the people within the community aware of the problem of poverty here in Schenectady. There was 4 panelists within the community who offered their own perspectives of the poverty within Schenectady. We had Reverend Phil Grisby with Sikkim, who provided some eye-opening information to those in attendance about the nature and extent of poverty here in Schenectady County. We had Superintendent Larry Spring of the school district. He spoke about the impact of poverty in the school district, in the school system, and mentioned how many students within the school district are struggling to meet the basic requirements as set by the New York State Board of Regents because they live in poverty. As well as he showed a video of a young lady at Schenectady High who detailed her personal struggles of completing her high school career as a single parent. Then we had our own city councilwoman, Mary Porterfield, who spoke about the role of government with regarding to dealing with the issue of poverty within the city of Schenectady. And then finally, we had a representative from the Central Civico of Amsterdam who spoke about poverty as it impacts the Latino community of the capital region. So in my closing, this is why we're here as a second forum to bring up the other topics that we talked about, issues such as jobs and unemployment. So the outline of the forum is first I'm going to be introducing the panelists. They will have a few moments to introduce themselves, talk about their backgrounds. And then there's going to be a part 1 and part 2. The first part will be a half-hour discussion. Questions will be given to the panelists. They will have approximately a 5-minute response to a question given by myself. We have a timekeeper, Miss Maureen O.B. She will have a minute flag. Then she will have a 30-second flag. Show the 30 seconds. And then, if the panelist keeps going, there will be a stop sign.
Whoa.
That's not the stop sign. She has a stop sign. When there's a stop, that means you gotta stop. If not, I will walk over or something. So, we have questions already prepared that the panelist, I believe, has. And then there will be about a 5 or 10 minute intermission for folks to get up, walk around, go to the bathroom. And then after that, there will be the second part where you all in the audience can ask questions to the panelists as an informal discussion, okay? So without belaboring time, we will get into the first question. Well, not the first question, but we will get to the panelists. We have with us Dr. Quentin Bullock, president of Schenectady County Community College with us. We have Jennifer Lawrence of Northeast Parent and Child Society. And then we have Walt Brady, and he's with the Capital District Community Loan Trust.
Well, we changed your name a while ago. It's actually Community Loan Fund of the Capital Region.
Okay. Well, since you are ready to continue to talk, can you just tell us a little about yourself and
about myself? I'm a relatively recent, I've been here for about 6 years. I was originally born and raised in Rochester. I moved out about 5 or 6 years ago to Albany. And I've been working with an employee of the Community Loan Fund of the Capital Region, which is located in Albany. I'm the Deputy Director and Director of Lending. My background is I've worked for a large financial institution for, 12 plus years or so before I came to the Community Loan Fund. One of the things that was interesting, I was never exposed to an organization such as the Community Loan Fund, so when I moved to Albany and I heard about it, it got my attention. I met the individuals that worked there. I saw that it had more than just a for-profit type mission where the bank I worked for before that was very focused on making money as opposed to the Community Loan Fund, which does focus on, expenses and revenue, et cetera, but they have more of a community development mission. Community Loan Fund's a 28-year-old CDFI. It's known as the Community Development Financial Institution. It's certified by the U.S. Department of Treasury. However, we are a private, not-for-profit organization. We are a $12 million loan pool. We provide loans to nonprofit organizations and to small businesses, particularly the underserved, which are women-owned, minority-owned, and people of low-income owned businesses. We've expanded a little bit outside of our mission. So if there is an area that's disinvested, if there's energy efficient component, if there's an agricultural, local food component, so we've kind of expanded our net, so to speak, to catch more fish. And the reason for that is we're interested in community development. We think there's a way to provide financing and loans that will benefit communities, not just make loans to gather interest. It's to make smart loans that will be successful, to help businesses to grow. And the other part of the Community Loan Fund that helps that is we have a lot of training, technical, and assistance. We're located in Albany. We partner up with the College of St. Rose in Albany to put on business classes. 3 times a year we put on an 8-week business class to give entrepreneurs, existing businesses, people who are just interested to know about business, at least the basics of the education about the pros, the cons, best practices of running your own business. And this all kind of fits in because the loans we make to individuals, we want them to succeed. We don't want, businesses that flounder, that go out of business, et cetera. We want to be able to stand behind those businesses, to provide the assistance, and to help them to succeed. The same goes with nonprofits. We provide a lot of technical assistance. I'm not an expert in anything, but I can give you my ideas on what best practices are. I can put you in contact with people that have experience with certain problems. We team up with a lot of organizations and partnerships. We think that's key to a healthy community, healthy businesses, healthy nonprofits, is to know who's out there that can provide assistance for you or who's faced these challenges, et cetera. So we often put on seminars that we think would be beneficial to nonprofits, particularly on the business side. Most nonprofits, in my experience, are very mission-oriented, but there's a whole other side, it's the business side. So if you're doing very well in your mission, but you're not paying attention to the business side, it's not necessarily healthy for your organization. You need to focus both on the mission and you need to focus on the business. If you're focusing just on the business, you're not focusing on the mission, you're not really doing what you set out to do either. So we put on seminars about QuickBooks, cash flow management. We partner up with the Legal Project to have attorneys available to question any sort of business issues. We put on recently a restaurant summit where we have a lot of people that come to us about questions about running a restaurant, food service, et cetera. Who better to address those questions than people that are in the business? So we gather those people that come down to talk to people for an hour or 2 hours about their experience and best practices. The whole idea, like I said, is to build this community, to be able to provide jobs, to help nonprofits, to provide the services that are needed in communities, and they're needed in every community. It's not just low-income communities. It's in high-end, it's in well-to-do suburbs, and it's in inner cities. And by supplying businesses that are located in neighborhoods that need help in putting together the services and nonprofits to help residents in those neighborhoods, that's how you build a healthy community and a healthy working environment to have healthy, educated, profitable type businesses. The other piece of the community loan fund is where do we get our money? We do not have deep pockets such as large financial institutions. We do not borrow from the federal government. In certain cases, we do have access to certain funding, but unlike traditional banks, we call them, instead of depositors, we call them socially concerned investors. It's individuals like you and me that want to see changes in the community. We pull in regional resources for our work in our 11-county area. So it's individuals, it's faith-based groups, it's private organizations, and most of the regional banks in the area lend us money at below market rates. We pool it all together, and that's where we get our loan pool.
Our goal is to provide sustainable wage jobs for young people and for community members, and to really be a benefit to the community at the same time, so that we're not just giving, we're giving back. On the horizon, we recently purchased a building on Brandywine Ave. It was a residential home, and we are retrofitting that to be an energy efficiency training center, and we're in negotiations to purchase the firehouse next door so that we can have a community-based energy efficiency training center for not just technical training, but for community residents to understand energy, understand how tenants and homeowners can improve their quality of life and living in their home. And really, honestly, at no out-of-pocket fee. There's a lot of funding, government funding available for those types of services. Great.
Good morning. Quentin Bullock, President of Schenectady County Community College. I am a Texan by birth. So I come to you from the great state, Lone Star State. Today's weather helps you to understand Texas. But it's been a pleasure. I've been in Schenectady County now 4 years, and came to the college with some very aggressive goals to help position the college to be recognized as a leader in economic revitalization, and to increase our stature in the community so that it's recognized as an institution for higher learning and for workforce training, and to strengthen partnerships with business and industry and to identify new programs that are closely aligned with jobs within the capital region. Over the last 4 years, we have done some great work in developing our strategic plan, Gateway to Excellence, 2010 to 2015, that focuses on programming, resources, facilities, renovations, and student growth and development. You have noticed, I'm sure, over the last few years, the renovation first of our front of Elston Hall to get it back to its historical work. The opening of our first student housing, the opening of our expanded music program, and our first off-site location in Center City at the YMCA location. We've also done some great work in developing new programs that are leading to real jobs here in Schenectady and across the county. Alternative energy with a focus on wind, solar, battery, working closely with GE and Superpower, preparing persons either as a technician or getting the associate's degree to work in a variety of jobs within the battery storage industry. Nanoscience technology, working first with Superpower to get a $1 million grant to launch a program and to begin training persons to work in the nanoscience technology and expanding it with global foundries. We have had 100% placement every year for each graduate. They've all been hired. Starting salaries are in the 40,000s. It allows them to continue growing, taking additional courses toward their bachelor's and beyond. Most recently, we are launching programs starting this fall in the casino gaming management to align with the industry that we have in Saratoga, as well as what may come in the very near future. Supply chain management, which is a new one that we are also launching, that works with warehousing, distribution, logistics, shipping, receiving. Each of those have jobs on the waiting list. So it allows a person to either get the certificate with the ability to ladder into the associates, interning, meaning you'll be placed as a part of the training at a place of employment, so it strengthens your skill sets, which also lets the employer know your skills. And based on the experience, those who go through are hired by that company. So it gives you firsthand training knowledge. The aviation program for training you to be a pilot and or to be an air traffic controller. We've had graduates who have graduated, and I looked at some data yesterday with the program. 25% of our graduates in the last 5 years are making over $100,000 because they get into that and they take pretty aggressive training and are open to the certification. And if you follow the stats, you recall back in the late 80s, President Reagan had a big layoff of air traffic controllers where they're at retirement age. So now they have to be replaced, and persons are getting aligned to take those positions, and it's a very competitive field. The great thing about community colleges is that we are accessible, we are affordable, and we meet you where you are. You come in at any level, and we will work with you to get the basic foundations for math, science, reading, and writing, place you into the appropriate career that aligns with your career interests, and then provide you all the support that you need to complete your task. You can go to college with financial aid, which is money that you don't pay back via a grant. If you choose to borrow, you have loans, or you can also apply for scholarships. We are accessible. We welcome opportunities to come to any community organizations to talk about the college, to talk about programs, to talk about admissions, financial aid. Persons who may have backgrounds that they're concerned, we can talk about how that's addressed and accommodated. So check us out, come visit us, take a tour, talk to the students, talk to the administration, and we guaranteed you that the experience that you get will be one that you will remember and one to continue on and bring someone along with you. So glad to support you.
Thank you. First question, since you're talking about SCCC, first question is going to Dr. Bullock. Recently, the governor announced his proposed tax-free New York program, and if those who don't know what I'm talking about, when we came in, we had the description here. How does Schenectady County Community College plan to utilize this program that the governor has just announced?
Well, there are no definitive plans to date. It is still information gathering period. In fact, we have a meeting on Monday to continue learning more as to how it works. It does offer opportunities to look for businesses such as TransFinder. It's a growing communication business. Is there a way that we can connect opportunities in TransFinders that is really growing leaps and bounds, that can partner with the college? With that new location, there will be just across the street from our center city, or they are within that mile radius to the main campus, and are there training programs that could benefit TransFinder as well as benefit economic development that would yield a significant number of jobs. There could be other industries that are on the horizon that we would be open to exploring via the entrepreneurial. We would do something in that arena that focuses with the energy component, where we assist persons who have the background in getting training and being a part of solar, battery, etc. So we are open to exploring what options are available, but it's still very early. Still has to get passed. But the concept, has a lot of interesting concepts that can benefit true private-public partnerships. But I think as it rolls out, of course, we will continue to be engaged to look at how we can make the connection. In fact, when they did the article in the Business Review, if you look very closely, you'll see in the corner Schenectady and Hudson Valley. The pictures are showing and talking about the benefits of partnering with this new initiative. So it's clear that community colleges are critical members that businesses will want to find a way of connecting and making that partnership work.
The next question is going to go to Walt. What can individuals living in poverty do to start up their own business enterprises?
The first thing to do is to put a plan together. That's most important. If anyone's done any sort of research, you read articles in the newspaper and magazines that people talk about starting a business, because that's really a good opportunity. Because you look around today at the want ads and who's hiring and things like that, that it might not be the perfect opportunity. So having the option of starting your own business is important, but you have to think it through. So if you just decide one day to open up a restaurant, that's not the way to do it. It's to actually put a plan and make sure it's the right thing for you. We have, like I mentioned earlier, we have an 8-week training class that we talk about business planning, the right things to do, the wrong things to do. But it's really to think it through, how the business is going to work, who's going to manage what, who's doing what each day, who's locking the doors at night, what insurances you need, how the company should be organized, how it should be managed, items like that. Because when you read or do any of the research, you'll see estimates anywhere from 40 to 75% of small business are not operating after 5 years. And that's for a whole bunch of reasons. It's not just because businesses were poorly managed, but all sorts of things happen. So there's a correlation between good planning and business success. So we encourage people to think about the plans, to put it down on paper, to think it through. And this isn't just a one-time thing. People come to us with the plan and say, here it is, I'm all set and done, what's the next step? You need to open the plan. You have to constantly adjust. You have to survey your competition. You have to think of what's working, what's not working. We've had numerous groups where their business plan is one thing, and today it's almost completely different. It's gone from retail to wholesale, because retail was not working, but they found a niche in wholesale. So the business planning piece is first and foremost. A lot of times people sit down, and the thing we don't talk about is people realize, this is a lot of work. This is not for me when they do that. That's, it's not a win in a sense of, oh, great. But it's a pitfall avoided, when people sit down and realize that this is a lot of work. But that's really the important piece, is to sit down and put a plan together, and it causes you to really think about what you're gonna do and how it's gonna work. So that's the first thing that anybody should do if they're interested in starting their own business. That's what that's what we preach, that's what we believe in, and that's what research says leads to success.
And this question's for you, Jim. What can be done to create jobs that will provide those seeking employment with a living wage?
That is, so I think I referred a little bit to it earlier, but one thing that we found is that there were, we never wanted to be a training program that trained people and there were no jobs to go with those, with training. And one is to create demand. So one thing that we've realized is we need to create demand. There was a lot of funding and a lot of opportunity for, in our example, for energy efficiency, for homeowners and tenants to get services, but they weren't accessing them. So one was to create the demand, and then in starting this social enterprise, we were able to take any revenue that we would get and put it into sustainable wages for employees. So that is something that is working for us. I think it's different. It's a little different model because there's a mission. So we're talking about business and mission together. You have to have the business. You have to have the numbers. They have to work. But there's also a mission, which is really jobs. It's not about creating revenue like in a for-profit sense. It's about using that revenue to help people have sustainable wage jobs. That's one way. I noticed. The other piece is, I think, connecting stronger, and I know that one of our panelists from the union was supposed to come, but I think a more stronger connections in Schenectady with unions. And really helping disconnected young people, but also community members and residents connect to union opportunities and really trying to build that bridge in a stronger, more formal way, maybe.
Okay, great. And this question is for all those on the panel. What are the career paths into employment for Schenectady County residents? And I'm going to start with Walt.
I would say that it's unlimited. Each individual is different. All I can do is recall my experience growing up and my friends' experience, what everybody's interested in, that there are so many opportunities out there that I see every day. I just got a flyer from Schenectady Community College in the mail the other day, and the number of courses that are offered, that there is potential for anything you want. And so that's one of to let people know that there are services out there that offer training for anything you're interested in, be it a pilot, be it a contractor, be it an accountant. That's what I would say the key is, particularly start with young children, is to expose them to what is available and what's out there. That when you talk to high school, I have a couple of nephews who are right at that age that are 14 or 15, and you just talk to them about what are your choices, and they just have these blank stares on their faces. To be able to show them that there are these opportunities that you should start thinking about, as opposed to I'm just gonna go get through high school and figure it out later, is to see that there are these opportunities, to introduce them to people that are in these programs, who are in these classes, that are in these careers, to at least give them the exposure to see what's out there. So here in Schenectady, there seems to be so much that we talk about the capital region. There is a very diverse source between education, manufacturing, high tech, the nano sector that's growing, potential gaming, etc. That there is so much out there. I would encourage people to talk to other people about the groups that help foster this type of thing. So that's what I would do.
Okay. Dr. Bull?
Well, there are a lot of opportunities here. New initiatives that have real jobs right in Schenectady County, as well as across the capital region as a whole. The nanoscience technology, of course, is one that Global Foundries cannot get enough trained persons into their pipeline. And when they pull from the target audience, it pulls from our smaller industries within the county. So the smaller industries have to backfill their employees, such as Superpower, SI Group, and those jobs are very well. It does require taking some courses and completing them satisfactorily and engaging in some hands-on laboratory work to really master the industry. But they want you to come in with the passion and understanding of this new technology. The other areas in healthcare. You know, we have a health training program that's for the returning adult, someone who wants to get introduction into nursing via the certified nurse's assistant, home care aide, home health aide, and we work in partnership with Schenectady Community Action Program in helping to identify and screen applicants, prepare them for the program. All costs 100% paid by the grant that we received 3 years ago. And students are working upon graduation and passing the certification, and then continue on. Another area that is also interesting and available within the industry, insurance industry, the hospital industry, is medical billing and coding. It's a certificate. More and more hospital offices, doctor's offices, dentist offices, insurance companies are looking for persons who have this new technology in coding, understanding how to code the bill and process billing. Those pay very competitive hourly wages that one could get that completed within a year and be hired to go to work immediately. If you are interested in other alternative energy, you have GE with the storage battery component, getting the technician going in, working your way up through the field, or the alternative energy technology, working in solar, wind, or battery. Even though there are some changes in the wind, that industry is starting to decline. It's flat, but it will come back. And of course, any of the cybersecurity, you know, there's a growing demand with all the different security initiatives that are occurring. That's a new field that we have, cyber networking and cybersecurity, to help you understand some of the new modern technologies for investigation. Criminal justice, getting into policing, that's an area. So the list is unlimited. I think the interest that one has, at least come and explore what does it take to get it. Look at the placement rate through our employment office, and then begin to study and make a commitment to complete it. That's the key thing, is to make the commitment to complete it. And in the end, it's a commitment up front. But I always tell students, you commit 2-3 years, and you have the rest of your life to have a competitive wage earning and comfort and enjoying your life.
That's right. And so with Dr. Bullock, all of those fields that Dr. Bullock mentioned are all what we're calling best bet career choices. So it was great to hear that list, because that's what we are counseling residents and young people to enter, are those careers. And the reason why we call them a best bet is because there is a high demand. There are livable wages. And there are also, in those fields, there are what we call stackable credentials. And so, you know, you can go in, you can get a short-term credential. It could be even, the credentials that we offer are very short-term. And then you could go to SCC and get a 1-year certificate. You could be working in under 2 years and continue your education with a 2-year program and then transferring on. And that is, I think, where we really will see some transformation, when residents can get their foot in the door, earn money, and continue going to college. And that's, and so I think those programs, they're exactly, we're developing career profiles for a lot of those programs that Dr. Bullock mentioned, a lot of those fields, to help people see the progression, and how they can make that happen for themselves.
Thank you. Well, at this time, we're going to take a short intermission or commercial break for those to go to the bathroom, get some beverages and refreshments. We're going to come back, and we're going to have the Q&A for you all to ask questions. I'm quite sure you have questions going on right now in your head, so you can ask the panelists in an informal way. And after that, we'll be coming back. Going to the first bidder. First question is going to Ms. Helga Schroeder. Please stand.
Thank you very much. Since I have to leave, early.
Okay.
I wanted to be sure to ask my question.
Sure.
And I'm not sure whom I'm representing, myself, the League of Women Voters maybe, some other groups. My question is, because you've probably all seen the recent articles again about the high teen pregnancy rate in Schenectady County, and I was greatly heartened by hearing all the wonderful efforts that all of your agencies or the college are involved in. But my question is, how can young mothers take advantage of those programs if they also have the burden of childcare and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Are there any support services for those young women who probably constitute a large percentage of the poverty in Schenectady County?
I would say that there are supports, and could there be more? Yes, there needs to be more supports. So the community college, through some of their training programs, helps us provide daycare assistance to young moms. We use public assistance to provide daycare assistance, and then the Head Start programs to provide daycare. And then there are some foundation funds, because Head Start runs like 9 to 3. I might get the time a little wrong, but we need some extra private dollars to fund before and after. And then there are a lot of great nonprofits that help do like in-home family visits and help the mom at home, Catholic Charities.
And at the college, we have our daycare center in partnership with the YWCA. And students who are enrolled at the college have access to utilize that service. It also makes it easy should their son or daughter have an emergency. Mom or dad could go right over to the facility to deal with the immediate emergency. In addition to that, through our Healthcare Opportunity Grant, working in partnership with the Schenectady Community Action Program, they align participants with healthcare services to allow them to go through the certified nurses aid and home care aid and home health aid training, and that allows them to complete the training, get their certification, and then go to work. And then if there's a need for continued support, they connect them with the agencies to supplement their income until they're able to be independent and have the appropriate care and support. So there are services that are available. If you're at the college, excellent daycare also has a Montessori school in it, so you could even transition from the daycare to the Montessori school and still continue on there at the college. And they have excellent educational programs for the youth. If you saw an article back in February, you saw me reading to the youth on America Reading Day. So they do engage them in those activities, so it's to really make it educational, where the young men and young boys and girls like to come and be a part of that total learning experience.
All right. Walt, did you want to respond?
I was just going to mention, we work with individuals who want to start daycare, so we provide some resources. I'm not an expert in it, but we put the individuals in contact so they know what the rules, the regulations are, because our goal is to have slots available for parents to be able to drop their child off, to be reassured that they're in a safe, quality, certified daycare, so they can go to school, so they can go to work. Or if they want to start their own, that's another option. A young mother who may be at home maybe takes in 2 or 3 other children to run a daycare from her home or her place of residence, to make sure she has the tools available to run the business and to make sure it works for her. So that's what we do.
I'm Jill Polk. I've spent most of my career in family court, in the front lines of family court, and family court ends up being the place where families who aren't succeeding, we haven't done enough prevention, end up. And I'm wondering what kind of conversation or mechanism might be in place to partner some of your services with family court, and what kind of educational programs, even for judges, so that they're aware of what rich resources Schenectady has. I know we have the mechanisms in place like probation and those sorts of things, but I think sometimes we need the direct link, and I'm just wondering if that can be set up, if it's already in place, and what we can kind of do to make that piece of it come into the circle.
At the college, as a part of the admissions process, on the application, it asks an individual if you have a felony. You check yes if you do, no if you don't. And as a follow-up, something will be sent to that individual for more information. When they return it, then they're connected with a specific contact person. So no one even knows Quentin Bullock is a felon, right? So it helps to facilitate them through the process.
I didn't know that.
It helps to also, one, before they are completely admitted, to confirm that they're eligible, whatever the felony is something that can be accommodated in the education environment. Because if you have, something with child, it may not work because we have children. But if it's something that is the reason they're connected with the appropriate personnel through the legal system, so all those communications are addressed and they're assigned to a specific person that works with them throughout their total experience. So that is in place to get persons who have been incarcerated into a field. It also helps them to make decisions of careers. So let's say you want to go into healthcare. Well, depending on what your felony is, you probably will not be eligible to get a license to be a nurse, because if it deals with drugs and you were related to drugs, then it would say don't go through nursing school because you complete it and you won't get your license. So it helps them to understand all those barriers up front and align them with specific jobs. One of our newest programs that we have for persons who have had a record is our dental technician program. And it trains persons how to do make crowns, make dentures, work in a dental lab. And many persons who have been incarcerated, who have had varied challenges, have gone through that and then are hired because it doesn't require a license. It only requires learning the skill, and they really want to turn their lives around, and that has been also a successful program. This is our second year doing that through our healthcare program. So I think the first step is connecting them to the admissions process, check, and I always tell people, be honest, because if you check no and we find out, then you pull out. So don't discourage it, and it's kept confidential, and it works.
I would say similar in our intake process, we look for young people to self-disclose their criminal background, primarily to help us, again, match to career fields and to make sure that we're giving the right career direction. Also, we help get a copy of their criminal background report, because some people do not know what's in their criminal background, or they think that everything's okay and there is something outstanding, so we do that. We do work with probation and parole closely, and probation officers, notifying them when we have open enrollment, doing presentations. But I do agree, I think you make a great point, that a more direct connection to the family, to the judges and to that system would even help more.
So how would we facilitate that? How would that become facilitated?
I'm open to suggestions. Yes. Anyway, we could try, anything that would work.
Well, one of the challenges of having a felony in your background is going to an employer and filling out that form, because it's a note of concern for an employer if somebody applies for a job, and it makes it that much more difficult. The jobs that are out there, they're tough to get now. With that, following you around, that's one of the challenges. So one of the opportunities is to start your own business. So that's kind of what we do. But to address your question, I'm not aware of anything that the Community Loan Fund does proactively. So that would be something, like Jennifer said, to talk about and maybe possibly explore as an option. I can think of one or two loans that we have recently made to individuals who have had issues in their past, and part of the challenge is what other alternatives are out there for this individual. Can they get a job at a bank? Can they get a job at a hospital or things like that? Their choices are limited, and it puts them at a disadvantage And here, they're, you know, they paid their dues, they're trying to change things around, and they just keep facing roadblocks. So one of the opportunities is to start your own business. So that's one of the things we try to do, is to help someone do that. And I think 1 or 2 loans currently right now that that situation's applicable to these loans.
I was wondering, I was glad to see in the paper, Reverend Phil Rick, can't see it. Glad to see in the paper, Dr. Bullock, that you're now on the Economic Development Council, the Regional Council. And I wondered if you could say a little bit more, that there's been assessments and kind of mixed reviews of those councils, in the sense that feeling this region has not gotten its fair share, whatever perceptions of that anyway. And are there things that could be done differently in this community to try to get more of those resources available through the Economic Development Council?
This is my 4th month on the council, and the leadership has also changed. You have Mr. Barber from the medical facility and Dr. Jones from UAlbany are the co-chairs for the Capital Region Economic Development. And one of the first initiatives that the council did was to introduce 2 new work groups. One, workforce development and education, and the other is arts and culture, which expands the opportunities. And the intent of the committees are to engage, in this instance, as co-chair of the workforce development and education, is to engage business, industry, and higher ed, and to help identify programs or collaborations or partnerships that would be ideal programs to look at nurturing it through this new competitive funding mechanism, and to get more businesses to look at that model that represents the capital region, and to see if it could secure funding that responds specifically to a high demand need here in the capital region. There are very positive initiatives that are occurring. We will be announcing the process within the next, by the 17th of June, that will be out and available. It's a very short turnaround period, but I think the key thing is understanding the process and understanding how to bring multiple parties together, because individuals are not strong as winners, but multiple players together strengthens the application and increases the chances for getting a competitive review. The council only does 20%. The 80% is done by the governor, all right? So when we review, it's only 20%. So you still have a large percentage that has to be weighted. But if you can get a good weight from us, then it gives you that start for having a higher score when the overall comes. There will be we hosted the last workforce meeting at the college, and we will be hosting the tax-free discussion on the 5th of this coming week.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's at 12 noon or 1 o'clock. And so we invite you to come to hear those details. We will also host a session once the application is released. We'll host a session at the college to talk about the process and to filter the questions. I can't say I'll be the expert to answer, but I'll have other persons who've been involved more for a longer time to help filter the questions as to the application detail.
Randy Magoo from the Human Rights Commission. My question is, what can we do as a community, I mean, as a Human Rights Commission and other groups, interest groups, to help your various, organizations to, create opportunities within the community for employment and business? Because what I'm hearing is that, there's a lot of resources out there, there's a lot of things going on, but there seems to be a slight disconnect in terms of the actual communities that need to be served. So how can we help you in doing this so that the community is better served by what's going on?
I would, very simple grassroots is identify organizations, groups, committees, developments that representatives of the college can come and talk about programs, careers that are immediately available, and how to prepare for employment. and what's the need and how you finance it. I think a lot of times it's the lack of information versus the ability to really do it, because it's the unknown that many persons don't step out. If they ask me, they always say, I'd like to get a job, and I'm a strong advocate of education. That I know you want it right now, but I want you to get the right job, all right? So you commit 2 years, then you'll have a right job. You know, it's a sacrifice. So I push, finish, then you get your job. I was sharing with Jennifer here a quote from a student that's in this book that I'll give out to those who like one, and it's about a young man. His name is Alan Scandival. He was an aviation air traffic control major, just graduated this past last week. He says, I came here just to get my aviation science degree, but now I'm double major. I want to transfer to get my bachelor's degree in aviation administration and then my master's degree in aviation management. SCC gave me choices. I came here with one idea and they gave me many options. So what I'm stating is that you have to ask the questions and make the commitment, reach out, identify, mentor, someone that you feel comfortable in talking and sharing the challenges that you're dealing with in the learning process. Because making an F does not mean you can't do it. It means having an honest conversation with yourself as to what is it that I'm not doing. If you are not studying or you're not doing the homework and you're not focusing, well, address those things and watch how it turns around. So don't get discouraged by failure. Failure doesn't mean you can't do it. You just have to assess what it is you're not doing and make those adjustments. So get us into the community. Let us talk to the audiences, talk about the admissions, the financial aid, the programming, the jobs. And I think seeing that enthusiasm from the college wanting to work with you will hopefully encourage those to want to at least take that first step and come and explore what the college can do.
Any other panelists want to jump in?
I would just say, like any other small business community loan fund, we're not a business per se, we're not for profit, but we're a small organization, is just to help spread the word for people to hear about the programs that we have to offer. I struggle at it too. There's so many groups out there to remember what group does what and what services are available. But I try to keep notes about groups that I hear about, what the services they offer, who the people are, to let people know. Hopefully you'll run into somebody today and tell them about what you did today and who was there, and you'll tell them about the community loan fund, and they said, hey, they make loans to small businesses if you're interested in expanding, or if you need equipment, or if it's a nonprofit group that wants to try a new program or needs a new roof on their building. Things like that is to let people know, and it's word of mouth. We do not have a large advertising budget. I'm assuming most groups are similar. We can't put ads on the TV. We could, but is it money well spent? It's better word of mouth that say, hey, I met Walt Brady. He seems like a nice guy. He gave me some information. You should give him a call. It's much better than putting an ad on TV. But I think the best way to do it is to tell people your experiences and who you met.
I think also in groups like this, Poverty Schenectady, I just was thinking there are so many resources, and groups like this to bring those people together and talk about the issues is great, and to connect different sectors, in the field. Also, just one specific, I know you were asking Randy about what the community can do to help. For us, internships and providing opportunities for hands-on experience, and also community service projects. We're always looking for other projects besides internships for our young people to get their service hours in. So I usually tell people, if you need anything, let me know. And it really is true. We are looking to do those kind of things.
We've had a lot of discussions. This is our second forum, and there's a lot of things that are going on around Schenectady. Obviously, we hear today that maybe things that people don't know about. Poverty is not probably a popular topic for some people. It's like something we know is there, but maybe we don't want to talk about it, or people don't want to talk about it. So is there something that we could do in terms of, within the city we have the Rose Garden Committee, because people love the rose gardens. We're forming a dog committee because people love dogs. And so, I mean, does it make sense that we think about putting together a committee that really talks about poverty? As was said by Mr. Brady, you have no advertising dollars for what you're doing. But if we come together and work together on this, does it make sense to have a committee within the county, within the city, to talk about the solutions, not just about the fact that we have a problem? We're all fully aware that the problem exists, but that we have solutions. Maxine talked about something that was done years ago. So should we be looking at that? Is that something we want to consider to make sure that people know about the opportunities? Vicki and I had an opportunity to talk with Dr. Bullock maybe about a month ago, and to learn so many of the things that are going on down at Schenectady County Community College that people aren't aware of. You know, the YW is doing things, and Northeast Parent and Child. So there's a lot of things that are going on here that we really don't want to just talk about poverty, but we want to talk about these solutions to getting people out of poverty. And a lot of the people in the room that are here already know the things that are going on, but are we really reaching the people that really need to know, the people that are really being impacted by poverty? So do we really want to think about putting together a committee? I know that everybody has a huge time commitment on other things, but it's things that you're already doing. And so how do we bring it together in a cohesive way, in a collaborative way, which is really how things are going to be getting done. Individually, it's, we're doing some things, but collaboratively, we can do that much more. So, is that something we want to think about, putting together a committee, like I said, through the city, through the county, just like we have all these other committees, and therefore people will know more about what's going on, and we'd be able to reach more people, because I think ultimately that's our goal, so.
I would suggest that you have the Human Rights Commission. Is there a way to just redefine a new workshop or informational session that speaks about transitioning from poverty to work, or where the topic piques someone's interest to come and hear, how do I transition from poverty to work? And that's where you talk about the education and the training and the jobs and all of the support mechanisms. Adding another committee, is an option, but I think connecting it to an effort that is underway, just look at maybe a new workshop that's targeted to the audiences that we want to communicate with, and let's try that. And I would strongly support participating in that effort. If not me, let's be someone from the college that would bring that same message.
And she is here.
I just want to give feedback. I think this is great, and I hope you guys do have the public come in and listen to this, because I think, like she said, we need to get the message out to them. We're all the providers and can give that information, but there's a few people that we can't reach. But yeah, I'm a youth support specialist for the AIDS Council, part of Real Talk. It's a youth advocacy group. So if anyone wants to talk to me afterwards, I have a whole bunch of flyers. Great, thank you.
All right, well, thank you for coming. We really appreciate you all being here. The word did go out through the commission. We are a county quasi entity, but the county communications department sends our news releases out. So happened that the Gazette downsized, and so the reporters couldn't get here, but the public does know about this. But there's a lot of stuff going on today. We have right after here a kids art festival that's happening, and there's some other things going on. We have Phi Hoppers run, over 50,000 women. I'm not there, but it's okay.
I'm there in spirit.
Yeah, it's really good. So a lot of stuff is going on, but this will be continually every month. There will be one, I believe, coming up in July that's still in the planning stages. Again, anyone that would like to be part of this, we do meet monthly, sometimes maybe every 2 weeks within that month. See one of us for your information or details. We do have a sign-in sheet. Please get your information on that, so you will be on the mailing list and for upcoming events. Again, thank you for everyone for attending. Thank you for SAC TV for filming this. This will be on public access channel, so be on the lookout for that. Again, anyone that would like the commission to do an event with you or just come to your organization and talk, have the commission talk to you about human rights laws, the role of the commission, what we do, and what we offer in the community, please contact me. or one of our commissioners, and we will be there for you. We are here for you, and we're here to partner, to support you, and to collaborate with you in any endeavor. So please do that. So without further ado, thank you for coming.
Thank you.